So I know a few people are a little confused on the strumming for Song to You. So let's try to go through the strumming a little bit and see if we can make this a little less confusing. So a couple things that'll help to make the song sound good would be to like really try to keep everything where it's rhythmically steady. You know, if you have a strum that's kind of like slowing down, pausing, and speeding up, it's not really going to sound good. So, you know, that's one thing that we'll work on here. The other thing that I do if I'm having a really hard time with the strum part, instead of doing the entire strum pattern, I'll kind of like simplify it and, you know, like reduce the amount of strums that I'm doing. So let's actually try that. Let's take some of the strums out of it. So the full strum pattern, they're doing, like if we're doing an eighth note count, like when you're counting eighth notes, you count it like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So it's sort of a complicated strum pattern. They're doing a down strum on 1, they're doing another down strum on 2, and then on the and after 2, they're doing an up strum, and then the and after 3, they're doing an up strum. So that's kind of complicated. So really slow, that whole strum pattern, it's like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Definitely tricky. So let's start it with just like a couple little pieces at a time. We'll only do the strums on the 1 each time. So we'll strum G on 1, we'll strum D on 1, and then we'll strum A on 1 2 times. So it'll be like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 Gene. My dog is scratching at the floor. Please, sir. Gene. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Okay. All right, so that part probably easy for you. So now we'll add the second strum. We'll do down strum on 1 and a down strum on 2. So it'll be like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now we'll add the next up strum. So the first up strum that you do is going to be on the and after 2. So it'll be like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The other really, really important thing when you're working on like counting out rhythms like this, when you're counting out loud, you have to make sure that your count is really steady. If you count it like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, then everything you play is going to sound kind of messed up. So you have to keep your count where it's like super, super steady. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then play to that steady count. So then when you add the final part of that strum, you're going to be doing another up strum on the and after 3. So the whole thing all put together really slow is like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I know it's probably super confusing, so you know, let's try that again. Actually, try this. We'll do just the up strums on the and after 2 and the and after 3. So it'll be like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So just to review, basically we're doing 2 down strums and then 2 up strums. The 2 down strums are coming in on the numbers. They're coming in on 1 and 2. And then the 2 up strums are coming in on the and after 2 and the and after 3. So it's a very complicated strum. So that might take you some practice until you can get used to it. So real slow, one more time, the complete strum. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The other thing that makes this more complicated, when you listen to the song, they're not playing that exact strum through the entire song. Like sometimes they'll change it up and, you know, kind of like add some extra little strums here and there, but that's like the bass strum that they're doing through the whole thing. A couple other like little strumming things that will help you out. If you're having a hard time with strumming, one of the keys to strumming is keeping everything really loose. You want to keep your wrist really loose. I try to keep my forearm and my shoulder really loose. Like if you played that strum and everything's super tight, it's going to sound really stiff. So you want to keep it like as loose as you can. And then the other thing that I try to do with strumming that'll make it sound good, when I strum, like I try to just like graze the strings with the tip of the pick. Like I don't go real deep into the strings. If you go too far with your pick when you're strumming, you'll get like a really aggressive sound. So I try to like keep it really loose and like just like skim the top of the strings when you're strumming. So I don't let my pick go below the strings. It's just like lightly skimming it. Another thing you can play around with too, like sometimes when I'm doing a down strum, I'll kind of like angle my pick like where the point like comes up to like my face. You know, there's a lot of different ways you can do it, but that's like one little thing. So I hope that helped. If it's still confusing, maybe try recording yourself, playing it, and then, you know, you could post it for me to see, and then, you know, I'll try to give you some tips on what to do to make it better. So good luck with that.